Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brandon. So this is going to be a really difficult video for me to put into proper words and get to the points because there's a lot of jumping to do. I'm pretty kind of depressed slash simultaneously thankful that I figured something out, I guess. It's bringing me some clarity to why the universe has been against me from launching my big websites. I'm just going to dive into this, and you're going to think I'm nuts at first, but follow me here for a second. If you guys search around on YouTube, you'll see where they have these gravity ram water pumps, and basically it requires like a really sturdy metal tank that doesn't crack because it undergoes these huge pressures. But basically, in a nutshell, you have three directions of water. You got water coming in, you got water going downhill, you got this manifold in the middle, and then you've got another pipe going uphill. And there's basically a sort of like a switch valve at the a long ways down the downhill slope. So what happens is water's going to run down all three pipes. It's going to run downhill. So the top pipe, the bottom pipe, and then the other bottom pipe that goes on down the hill. And so the manifold's in the middle of this like triangle of pipes, these three prongs of pipes, okay? And what happens is when the switch downhill flips shut for a second, it creates a shock wave back up. Well, the pipe that's coming down at a slope to the manifold, it continues to flow, okay, because there's a bunch of water behind it. There's a big water reservoir behind it. So the diagonal pipe that goes up a little bit, as long as it's not too long and as long as it spills out, it's actually the one that takes the beating. The water actually pulses back up. And so what happens is this valve at the bottom of the hill, it works like a machine gun, and it bump, 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 bump. It's like at a certain pace. And it causes the upward water to go uphill. Now, this thing is kept secret because it's not secret, but it's not published mainstream for two main reasons. One, when you can pump water uphill, you technically have free electricity because then that water can be used to spin a water wheel no matter how big or small. Okay, so you say, well, we need to build these things in massive scale. Well, understand the thing you're going to run into is the pump part of it, the manifold part of it.
See too many cars crashing into buildings around here.
Breaks.
Oh yeah.
Unless it's made out of something super sturdy. So imagine you wanted to build a giant one of these. Maybe you'd say, okay, we're going to encase this thing in concrete. And the way that actual manifold is shaped also has consequences on how efficient it is. So there's a fellow who took the bottom chamber of the Pyramid of Giza, and it has a very distinct shape to it. And he, of course, created it with a concrete block, which I'll show you here in a second. I'm scared to talk about this, and it's on YouTube, but it's not fully on YouTube. These guys are still in the dark. They figured out like a piece of the puzzle that's critical to the whole essence of how the Pyramid of Giza actually creates. The Pyramid of Giza is both a water pump and then secondary, it's a power plant. Because the movement of water, anybody who's ever taken an LED bulb and held it underneath a running faucet, you know that running water across an electrode can actually light up an LED. So, it scares me to even talk about this, guys, what I figured out. It really does. It's so simple. This guy figured out the key to it, and it's been around for 7 years. I don't know how this isn't mainstream. Don't get me wrong, it is. It's got like 6,000 views and whatever. The point is, the pyramids of Giza irrigated, they supplied water to the area as well as provided electricity. They provided both. And I don't even want to talk about the stuff that I figured out on top of what he figured out, because I quickly, like as soon as I saw his video, my mind just went rapid fire. And we all have like a magic gut that can allow us to know truth. Not all of us, but some of us. And Maybe that's what the Bible and all these religions mean, is God will allow you to know truth if you're a good person and you're worthy of knowing, whereas other people can't distinguish truth from fiction. So Darwinism is against them. But anyway, providing free irrigation and electricity to people is not a big piece of cake, but it's plausible. And you start to understand why the Pyramid of Giza had to be packed in all the stone, and why the passages had to be airtight, because they've got to be waterproof. And I always knew that the bottom of the pyramid had a passage through it where they would run water through there, and that was part of the electricity generation. I didn't realize it was a gravity ram pump. I never realized that part. So anyway, the reason why Charlie Kirk got killed is because he's exposing the hidden order, the magic trick, if you will, of how the people who keep the secrets. And meanwhile, the Antichrist prophecy is the guy will be a great teacher, and he's going to teach all these people everything about money, and you'll be a great miracle worker. And he's also going to be the water bearer, the Aquarius. It's the time of Aquarius, the water bearer. So I already had inventions for a long time about how to desalinate water way easier than anybody's ever realized. It just involves gutters and sunshine. And pipes and gutters and sunshine. And there were sub pumps that pumped up to Giza and would keep its reservoir full. Giza had a wall around it, like a moat, that stored water. The passages that go out the top of Giza at the diagonals, those are the raising the water up. There's other than structures built around Giza. Giza, there's a good chance that it didn't actually look like a pyramid, but instead it looked like a cube. Because what you do is the triangle of Giza, the Pyramid of Giza, that's the superstructure to keep the manifold from cracking. Okay? That's just a big heavy weight to keep the manifold from cracking. Meanwhile, once you pump the water out of Giza, out the top, you could then have another reservoir that's built around Giza like a cube. It would be like reverse triangles around each side of Giza that holds water. And that water would then effectively be able to turbocharge the ram pump. I can't explain it without a diagram, but the point is, guys, I realize that my websites cause crazy innovation. And I realized that it would lead to these ram pumps being innovated and electrical generation from these ram pumps. And I realized that this just ends up with everybody with a laser turret in their yard. Everybody's going to have weapons, bombs. Everybody's going to be just worried about their life because somebody else has a laser gun / invisible ray gun, which can cause you to have cancer and kill you over time if people zapped you without you knowing. So while you're sleeping at night, there could be somebody. Everything becomes war. It all becomes war with Giza, with the technology there, because you'd have to have people standing post all the time and automated systems watching to know if you have what do you call it? You're being shot by a ray gun. Because your neighbors could be assassinating you, shooting you with a cancerous ray gun. So you'd have to have all kinds of detection devices all the time. And everything would just become super gridlocked to where everybody owns their own property. They guard their own property. Everything's paid off. Nobody has any debt. And because the people who don't have debt would be the ones to buy up all the property. So everybody else is homeless. So, or renting, I should say. But it's just crazy, man. So how it all ends is you build the biggest one of these things, you put a laser gun up on top, you decimate the whole entire fucking neighborhood, you destroy everything. Then you have the slaves dismantle the moat walls around the pyramid. They dismantle it all. Okay? And I mean, you could even use the laser gun to dismantle it all. You could just start zapping key structures and just self-destruct the whole Giza area. Okay? But the point is, like, you spiral your way in. You start on the outside and spiral your way all the way in to where there's nothing left. Just destroy everything. And everything would be lush jungle for a little while. And that would be the story of Moses, where he takes people into the wilderness. It doesn't say he took them to the fucking, Sahara Desert or whatever. It's, he just took them out into the wilderness because there used to be crops, because it all used to be irrigated. So then once you get everybody out to, the wilderness, you take the Ark of the Covenant with you. That way the people have the confidence they can get away without getting zapped by the Pharaoh. They're not scared to leave. So the people think it's their idea to leave. And then it's forgotten. It's forgotten about the ram pumps. It's forgotten about the Pyramid of Giza. It's all forgotten. And then you just got to keep the knowledge suppressed. And that's why ram pumps are kept secret. I mean, they're out there, but they're not used mainstream anywhere. They're used like out in the wilderness. People who know how they work. And there's certain ratios of how big the passages have to be for it to all work. The size of this passage versus the shape and size of the manifold. That's all I got, guys. I'm just not in a good mood. It just drives me crazy. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with life. I could release a documentary tomorrow and explain how this fucking thing works. The parts that I've not yet explained is how you would have intentional cavitation. I figured that out. What the intentional cavitation's used for, I figured all of it out. I've always known cavitation was like a little mini fusion reaction, and I wondered why physics didn't teach us this about cavitation and its power. Now I know why. It's because it happens at Giza in the manifold. See ya.